Imagine for a moment, what would it be like to live on Mars? Not in flimsy tents or cramped capsules as it might seem at first glance, but in a real city hidden beneath the surface, protected from the harsh radiation permeating the red wastelands of this distant planet. In the depths of a crater, where light only reaches through protective glass, a new chapter of human history begins. Picture countless robots working around the clock in dust and cold, drilling and reinforcing the walls of the crater to create a safe and cozy home for future generations. This isn't just scientific fantasy. Real engineering magic is happening here. Massive structures built from the very Martian regolith are reinforced with steel and glass, sourced and processed on-site. Underground farms, laboratories, and residential complexes are taking shape, and soon a city full of life will rise on this harsh planet. But what drives people to go so deep beneath Mars's surface, surrounding themselves with layers of rock and steel? What is so alluring about this red world that makes us take the risk of moving here? Perhaps Mars will become not just an experiment, but the beginning of a new era for humanity. In recent years, numerous ideas have been proposed for building housing on Mars for future settlers. Among them are tiny houses made of rusty silica, various capsule formats, and even lava tubes located beneath the planet's surface. However, the international architectural studio Abibu decided to create something more ambitious, a plan for a Martian megacity named Nüwa, with construction scheduled to begin in 2054. According to the architect's expectations, this settlement will be suitable for living by 2100 and will be able to accommodate 250,000 residents. The name Nüwa is linked to the Chinese goddess who created humanity and saved Earth from catastrophe during the apocalypse. According to legend, she gathered 5 stones, melted them, and patched the holes in the heavens to stop the flood and fiery rain. The architects chose 5 locations on Mars to host the megacity and its sister cities. This decision aims to increase the settlement's resilience, provide easy access to resources, and enhance mobility for future residents. For example, the city of Abylos City will be located at Mars's North Pole to ensure direct access to ice reserves, while Mariner City will be situated in the largest canyon in the solar system. The heart of the megacity will be located in the hilly area of Tempe Mensa, inside a cliff with a steep face. This location is chosen for protection from radiation and access to indirect sunlight. Tunnels will be dug inside the cliff to accommodate modular spaces for residential and work areas. In areas where the tunnels reach the cliff walls, green domes will be built, parks and experimental plantations created under Martian atmospheric conditions. The Martian city is expected to become fully self-sustaining over time. This project includes farms, particularly for growing microalgae, which will make up to 50% of the Martian diet. These farms will be located on the highest point of the cliff, where they have direct access to sunlight. The authors emphasize that while grains can offer a more varied diet, microalgae are more efficient in terms of space and resource usage. The plans also include farms for raising animals and insects, which will be located in the valley, as they require an Earth-like atmosphere. Pigs and chickens will be raised in smaller numbers. Although they are not highly efficient for Martian settlements, they have significant psychological value for people. City parks will be located in large pavilions, where residents can spend time together. These areas will offer breathtaking views of the megacity and Martian landscapes. The valley will also house hospitals, schools, universities, as well as facilities for sports and cultural events, shopping centers, and transit stations. Domes over these sites will provide radiation protection. The architects assert that the landscape is a core element of Nüwa and its sister cities. Integrating buildings with the surrounding nature will turn the city into a work of land art, creating a unique identity for its residents. Art will play a significant role in Nüwa's life, with each macro building featuring art domes to inspire citizens. Nüwa's infrastructure will also include a spaceport, allowing settlers to travel to the Red Planet and back to Earth. Shuttle launches will occur every 26 months, and a one-way ticket will cost $300,000. This price includes 1 unit of living space measuring 35 square meters per person, with full access to common facilities and life support services. all city residents will be required to sign an agreement stipulating that 60 to 80% of their working time should be devoted to city-assigned tasks. Abibu Studio anticipates exponential population growth for Nüwa and its sister cities. After an initial period of capital investment and supplies from Earth, the city's further development will be sustained by its own resources. All construction materials will be sourced on Mars by processing carbon and other minerals. What are the key challenges humanity must overcome to turn this planet into a new home? To successfully colonize Mars, several priority tasks must be addressed, each playing a crucial role in sustaining the colony. One of the primary tasks is building shelters. Residential and working spaces must be protected from the harsh Martian environment. For this, it is advisable to use Martian soil by placing shelters beneath the planet's surface. Additionally, specialized protective coatings, such as ceramics made from local materials using 3D printing technologies, may be applied. This will help create a safe and comfortable space for living and working. Another essential task is water extraction, which can be sourced from ice located in the subsurface layer and polar caps. Water will be a key resource for sustaining the colony. Additionally, it is necessary to establish oxygen synthesis, which can be obtained from carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and water ice in the soil. The use of photosynthesizing plants or more advanced technologies will ensure the colony has sufficient oxygen for breathing. Simultaneously, it is crucial to set up food production. To supply the colony with food, creating airtight greenhouses and using fertilizers for sustainable agriculture will be required. This will not only sustain life, but also provide a diverse diet. Fuel production is also critically important. It must be organized both for ground transport and for spacecraft flights to Earth. For instance, methane can be synthesized from carbon dioxide and water extracted on Mars, ensuring the colony has the necessary fuel. Finally, it is essential to establish reliable communication both within the colony and with Earth. Radio communication can be used for inter-colony communication, though it has significant delays, 3-4 minutes each way at minimum planetary distance and about 20 minutes at maximum distance. A more optimal solution may involve using optical communication channels based on FSO technology, though it should be noted that using electromagnetic waves will not allow direct communication when the planets are at opposite points in their orbits. If these primary tasks are successfully accomplished, representing the most challenging phase of colonization, optimistic forecasts suggest that the number of those willing to migrate to Mars, assuming a possibility of return, could increase exponentially. But can these conditions be maintained in the long term, considering the isolation from Earth and the limited resources? What additional technologies and measures will be required to support this cozy and vibrant corner on Mars? 6 rovers have operated on Mars throughout the course of scientific research. Currently, 2 of them continue their missions, Curiosity and Perseverance. The Curiosity rover is the 3rd rover designed to explore Gale Crater on Mars as part of NASA's Mars Science Laboratory mission. The rover's dimensions are 3 meters in length, 2.1 meters in height with the mast, and 2.7 meters in width. It can overcome obstacles up to 75 centimeters high, with an average speed of approximately 30 meters per hour. A radioisotope, thermoelectric generator, RTG, powers the rover, previously used in the Viking 1 and Viking 2 landers in 1976. On board, there are 2 identical rover compute element, RCE computers, each powered by a RAD 750 processor with a 200 MHz frequency and radiation-resistant memory. For communication, Curiosity is equipped with 2 systems. The first system includes an X-band transmitter and receiver, allowing direct contact with Earth at speeds of up to 32 kilobits per second. The second system operates in the UHF band and is based on the Electrolyte software-defined radio developed by JPL specifically for space missions. This UHF radio system is used to communicate with Mars orbiters. Perseverance is a rover designed for scientific exploration of the Jezero crater on Mars as part of NASA's Mars 2020 mission. It carries 7 scientific instruments, allowing it to thoroughly analyze the surface in the Jezero crater region. These instruments include various spectrometers, analyzers, and cameras, providing diverse data on soil and atmospheric composition. Additionally, Perseverance has multiple cameras for photographing the environment and 2 microphones for recording sounds, which opens up new avenues for studying the audiovisual aspects of the Martian landscape. Among planned rovers, the Rosalind Franklin project, formerly known as ExoMars, stands out. It is being developed by the European Space Agency and is scheduled to launch to Mars in 2028. Additionally, there is the proposed Mars Sample Return mission, aiming to bring Martian soil back to Earth. Rovers play a critical role in exploring the planet. Since the 1970s, scientists have been sending spacecraft to Mars, launching a variety of specialized types over the years. One type is orbiters, which circle the planet and take images of its surface. Another type, called landers, provides data and images from landing sites on Mars's surface. Rovers differ in that they have wheels and are specialized for surface exploration. They land on Mars and can move across different areas, allowing scientists to better understand the planet's composition. Mars is made up of various types of rocks, each containing a mix of chemicals. With rovers, scientists can study different regions and analyze the chemical composition of each rock. These chemicals can offer insights into the environment that influence these rocks over time, helping to understand Mars's history and evolution. What other robots could play a role in building a city on Mars? Who proposed a new technology that could assist in excavation? A research team from Delft University of Technology proposed a plan to build residential settlements within Mars's underground using swarms of robots for excavation. According to the scientists, such subterranean settlements could protect people from micrometeoroids, radiation, and other potential hazards. The process of creating these settlements would involve excavating regolith and 3D printing components for the new habitat. While the idea of using robots to dig regolith has been explored before, it was generally in the context of the Moon. For Mars construction, the university's robotics lab selected a spiral shape that goes deeper underground. This design, they assert, will be stable, safe, and occupy minimal surface area. The extracted regolith would be used as a material for 3D printing the chambers. The team has already developed a prototype of the future settlement at a 1x1 meter scale, with some areas designed to suit living conditions. Specifically, there are zones for hydroponic plant growth. A crucial aspect is also the structuring of the material from which the habitat will be built, as this determines the shape that the 3D printer will create. The researchers focused on porous structures, which will require less material during construction. These structures will be strong, durable, and provide good insulation against radiation and micrometeoroid impacts. Currently, researchers have only demonstrated the technology. For the concept to advance to an actual mission phase, further research and funding are needed. The university is confident that, if successful, swarms of robots and 3D printed habitats could play a key role in developing the concept of an underground city on Mars. However, questions arise. How will management and energy distribution processes be organized within an underground city? And will the system ensure reliability and safety for its inhabitants? Humanity has long dreamed of conquering Mars. Within the next 30 years, a settlement could emerge on the Red Planet, where colonists might live for years. However, numerous obstacles stand in the way of this goal, one of the most challenging being the energy problem. Modern civilization depends on electricity and fossil fuels. Most things that make our lives comfortable require either connection to the power grid or the use of combustible materials like firewood or gas. For survival on Mars, colonists will need a reliable energy source. On near-Earth orbit, astronauts can minimize energy consumption, but on the Red Planet, this will not be possible. The most pressing problem will be heating. Heat is transferred from one body to another and eventually dissipates into space. On the International Space Station, this is less noticeable due to the vacuum, where the only mechanism for heat loss is radiation, which is not very effective. In contrast, on Mars, even near the equator, temperatures rarely rise above 0 degrees Celsius, and in higher latitudes they drop below -100 degrees Celsius. Thus, heat transfer mechanisms will quickly drain warmth through the walls of living quarters. Insulation could be an effective solution, but even that will not maintain normal temperatures over many years if the only heat sources are human bodies and computers. Therefore, colonists will need heating devices. However, traditional heating methods cannot be used on Mars. There is no wood, gas, or coal, and transporting them from Earth is too costly. Using stoves or fireplaces in low oxygen conditions is also unwise. Since on Earth, combustible fossil fuels were formed through millions of years of biosphere activity, and no such process has occurred on Mars, electric heaters will be the only widely used source of warmth. This will lead to significant energy consumption. Other engineering systems, such as water supply, drainage, and ventilation, also consume a lot of energy. These systems require pumps and filters to operate. In a Martian colony, it is possible to create proper showers and toilets, but this will require additional energy costs. Lighting will be cheaper, except in greenhouses where plants need a sufficient amount of light due to the weak sunlight on the planet. Transportation will also require energy. Gasoline and gas cannot be brought from Earth, and Mars has no oil resources. All rovers will be charged from the electric grid. This entire list already points to a high demand for reliable electricity sources, but it only covers the initial stages of colonization. In the case of building a full-fledged city on Mars, manufacturing will become the main energy consumer. The first thing that requires electricity is fuel production for returning to Earth, which will also require a lot of energy. Building a colony will also require significant energy costs. While transporting materials from Earth makes sense for the first modules, they will need to be produced locally in the future. Local silicate and aluminate rocks can become construction materials, but their processing will require a lot of energy. On Earth, one of the main energy sources is fossil fuels, but this option is not viable on Mars. Hydroelectric power plants that use water to generate electricity are also unsuitable, as there are no rivers on the planet. Geothermal sources, which could be used, are also currently unavailable since no active regions on Mars's surface have been discovered. Solar panels, which operate on the photoelectric effect, are already used on Mars rovers, but their efficiency on the red planet is low due to the greater distance from the sun and poor conditions. Wind generators could be an alternative, but Mars' thin atmosphere significantly reduces their efficiency. Ultimately, nuclear reactions may become the primary method for generating energy on Mars. They are safe when properly managed and can produce a stable amount of electricity for many years. In the early stages of colonization, RTGs may become the main energy source. Later, to meet the needs of a growing colony, a nuclear reactor capable of managing a chain reaction will be needed. However, currently there are no uranium ores on Mars, so fuel will have to be transported from Earth. In the long term, thermonuclear reactors may solve the energy problem on the red planet. Building such installations is no less challenging than on Earth, but as technology advances, this issue may be resolved. Overall, the energy supply issue for colonists exists, but in the early stages, they can use wind generators, RTGs, and solar panels, while in the future, nuclear and thermonuclear reactors will come to their aid. However, how will all these efforts be balanced? Will Martian society be able to develop its unique ecosystems while preserving the values and principles accepted on Earth? The underground city on Mars will not only mark a significant milestone in the exploration of the red planet, but it will also lay the foundation for the further colonization of both Mars itself and its moons. In the future, the successful implementation of an underground city could lead to the creation of new settlements in other areas of Mars, such as craters, caves, and even on its moons, like Phobos and Deimos. Each new colonization project will build on the lessons learned from previous endeavors, enabling mistakes to be avoided and accelerating the process of exploration. Additionally, the underground city could become an important scientific base for studying asteroids and other planets in the solar system. Developing technologies for interplanetary travel and asteroid exploration could open up new possibilities for extracting resources necessary for life and the continued development of colonies. This, in turn, may lead to the creation of new jobs and an improvement in the quality of life for colonists, allowing them not only to survive but also to thrive despite prolonged isolation from Earth. However, humanity faces significant questions. What cultural and social changes will occur as a result of establishing Martian colonies? What role will Earth's traditions and values play in the new Martian reality? Subscribe to the channel, follow the news, and stay informed about the latest developments in Mars colonization and exploration.